you ready for a little Southern humor mixed with relevant topics we can all relate to? We're about to pull back the curtains and mix it up. Scoot your chair up. It's time to talk about all the things and ask all the questions. Welcome to Get It Together, y'all.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm so glad that you joined us today. We are excited about this show. I don't know, April and I have been really excited about this show. I have a friend who I can't wait for you to meet, and so we're gonna roll and have a good time. And I believe I'm gonna learn something, but we're also gonna just we don't know what's gonna happen, do we? My name is Cindy Larson, and I am your host for Get It Together, y'all. And thank you for joining us today. And here's my co-host,
April Potter. How you doing out there?
How you doing?
We got a couple of really great guests today.
Tell me about it.
I'm so excited. We have Liz King with us.
Yes.
Can you say hello to
Hello.
everyone out there? And Mr. Ashley Mofield. Did
Hello,
I say
y'all.
it right? Did I say it right?
You said it right.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
Awesome.
Well, there's so much to get into, and I'm excited. If you are, if you like animation and comics and anime, is that true?
I did animation in college, and that's too tedious. I just do comics.
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 Well, but anime is like a whole world.
Well, anime is. Oh, here I go into nerd world.
Do it. We're into nerd world today.
Anime originally in the 80s was called Japanimation. It was from art from Japan, and I grew up on a show called Transorzy.
Oh.
It's named something else now. It's about a robot that somebody put a hovercraft in.
I remember that show.
Yes, I loved it. Anyway,
It came on there was 2, 4, 5, 17, and 30 in Nashville.
Yes, the UHF channel.
It was on a UHF channel after school.
Yes.
I totally remember that.
Yes. And so it is now it's called anime. So it's all the the animation that's in the form of Japan, and
They have the big eyes and
yes,
stuff. Yeah.
And yeah. So.
But that has nothing to do with what you do.
Has nothing to do. But this is I'm on a learning curve. So, see, I've already learned something. I'm so excited because, I'm really attracted to nerds. And so Liz and I became fast friends.
And how we met.
I know. So we're going to get into it all. But now my new friend is Mr. Ashley. And I am finding out that he's like one of the coolest pastors. What? Like somebody that is in the comic world and writes these books and all this for, oh my goodness. So if, we've got some fun convos to have. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Really excited. I was kind of like posting some things, and some of my friends were like, "You're doing a podcast? That's awesome!" And Liz is like, "When you having me on?" I'm going, "Oh yeah, I gotta have you on." So we're finally here.
Yes,
we're finally
we are.
doing it. I'm so excited. So, if you're new to this show, we do a couple of things right off the bat, don't we?
We do.
We have been doing this for a while, and we have some fans and feedback on. Okay, so this is really great. So we do something called Fun Facts, and we had a fan that caught us in a mistake. Mm-hmm. I made a fun fact about something, and I was wrong. Sometimes, I'll say, you know what, I'm not sure that's right. And then April will look it up on the spot. This one got biased.
Yeah, you were confident.
I was so confident. Like, follow me off the edge of this cliff because I am sure about it. But we've got some, I don't know if so fun facts. You don't have to be scared. If you don't have a fun fact, it's fine. But, I kind of feel like that in the back of all of our brains is this like useless information.
I am the queen.
You really
I am
are.
the queen.
You really
of
are the
that.
queen of that.
I am full of it.
So she is full of it. And that's why you're on today. So I'm ready for it. I'm here for you. But there's this useless information of all the things that we are supposed to remember in our life. You know, we go to school all those years, and we're supposed to remember this stuff. We don't. We totally don't. But we remember certain things that, like, you know, we're at a party and we're like going, hi, nice to meet you. And then you think of these random things. They're like party things. So I've got a couple that I want to bring out. I just learned, I wasn't even looking for this fun fact. And my mother-in-law, she sent me this fun fact. Did you know that the new COVID, men hiccup? It's one of the side effects. Women, not so much. Men, one of the almost like 89% of men that get COVID, this string of COVID, they hiccup. You didn't know that, did you?
Wow.
So there you go. That's a fun
No.
fact. It's a fun fact.
Now we need to run away from everybody who's hiccuping.
So, yes. So this is the thing. So here's our little PSA. You know, if you're passing by a gentleman and he's got the hiccups, he's got COVID.
Unclean. Ring a bell.
And I've got another one that, you know, if you listen for these things, you'll just hear them. They'll just now that you've been on the, you know, the fun fact roller coaster.
Fun
You're
fact
gonna
train.
the fun fact train. I like that. It's better than a roller coaster. But the train, I learned that mosquitoes, we're just like some parts of the country, they're just brutal, right? And if you ever have a problem with that, just go to, like, we're in Nashville and we have a lot of rooftop party pads. No mosquitoes. You know why? Mosquitoes cannot fly higher than 25 feet.
Wow.
I need to move
Did not
higher
know
up.
that.
My wife needs our backyard on a pedestal.
On a
Yes.
pedestal. Are you excited to know that?
I am.
Because as we're talking about mosquitoes, if you get a spray bottle and you fill it with vanilla extract and some water, they will not bother you.
No.
I am
Now, I
dying to
knew
try that.
spiders doesn't like peppermint.
No, they do not like it. You get real vanilla extract, put it in a bottle, and dilute it some, and you spray it on you, and they will not touch you, apparently.
So are you talking about like vanilla like you cook with?
Yep.
How much ratio? I'm doing it.
I don't know. Maybe 50-50. I don't know.
That's a lot of
Just
that's a
look
lot
it
of
up.
vanilla. I'm gonna look it up. That's great to know. We're full of it today. So you've already had a fun fact. I'm gonna be
I got a
thinking-
good fun fact. I practiced for one. I was like,
Oh, you did? You knew you.
I've got one
you
that's like,
prepared?
oh, heck, I always prepare. I over prepare.
Well, you don't have to. Like, we'll just roll with it. We'll just take your feedback. But
I'll do
What-
my
what
fun
it- what
fact.
is it?
Did you get a fun fact?
Well, you know, you told me that they might ask me that. So I thought of a couple interesting things about myself, but I don't know that's nearly a fun
hey,
fact.
well, it's fun. It's if you don't mind us laughing at
But
you.
when you think about useless information in my head, the way that you define the fun fact, I am a plethora of, like, I have a full supply of dad jokes that.
Yes,
that-
he does.
So,
My
so I
child
guess
would
that's
love you.
still something about myself that,
it's fun.
you know, even as a pastor, and I know a lot of dad jokes that are in my head. So
Yeah.
at any point, if this interview is like flat,
Yes,
you
You're
just
gonna throw
point to
one
me
in?
go for it.
and I'll give you one, and we'll be good to go.
How about you just have your your flat meter, and
Yeah.
so if you just say,
Okay.
hey guys, we'll just know that you think it's hot mic, you've got a fun fact.
Okay.
You got a joke.
All right, I'll be ready.
Okay, you'll be ready. What's your fun fact?
Okay, so you know how much I love Toby Mac, DC Talk.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes.
This girl is Toby. If you can,
You gotta tell him how we met, because that's funny. That's
Well, what's your fun? Yeah.
Okay, so
say whatever you want to say.
when I met her, she's like, we sit at a table, and this is just how God is just so awesome. And she goes, I was like, well, what do you do? She goes, oh, I'm a singer, and I live in Nashville and stuff. It's like, all I care about, do you know Toby Mac? Just joking. She goes, well, actually, I start screaming, and everybody's like looking at me. It's just like, because I've just loved DC Talk and Toby Mac. But so my my fun fact is, since we're here about some mixtape theology, the book that we got to be a part of, or
Yeah, we're gonna
I got
get
to be a
into
part of.
that.
Yes, he's the one that was the co-author. I just got to be the artist, but
Mixed tape theology.
mixtape theology. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And so since we're doing 90s Christian culture and Christian music, we're going to talk about that. I thought I would do my little fun fact about Toby Mac.
Okay.
Do you know his real name?
I don't. Our producer might.
He can't say.
Yeah. No, he can't say.
It is actually Kevin Michael. And it's funny because we have Kevin Max and Michael Tate.
Right.
So he couldn't go with it. So he went with Toby. Do you know why he went with Toby?
Not a clue.
Because his brother would call him either Tober or Toby because he was born in October.
Oh, cute.
So I thought it was like
Yeah.
a shortening of Toby McKeon.
No, it's Kevin Michael McKeon is his name.
Okay.
So hopefully no stalkers like.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, it's Kevin.
Well, most
Michael
of those guys
McKeon.
have a different name anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Stage name.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should use code names.
I used to do radio in college, and my nickname was Squishy Stardust. That's my nickname.
What did you do on the radio?
Me and my friend Rich, we had a segment about 90s music. And then we played the latest musicians in it was a secular college, so that 1 hour.
Where?
It was at Western Kentucky University a long time ago. And see, my nickname was already Squishy Stardust, but it just went. It was just what I went with. So my
Stardust.
closest friends were like, "Hey, Squishy," and I'm like, "What?" I will respond to Squishy. So that's
That's awesome.
so.
Okay, well, we're wonder what your all your security code names are for your computers.
Squishy Stardust.
We struggle with passwords. What are we gonna? What's our? Well, I'm not. That's too much to remember. Squishy. I can't even say it.
Squishy Stardust.
Stardust.
It's a long story how I got that name.
Yeah.
It was from a
That's
Christian
great.
festival. It's from Cornerstone Christian Festival. A guy from
Okay.
New York gave it to me. It was funny.
Oh, well, in a prophetic way.
No, we were just hanging out.
From now on,
And I had
you
glitter
shall be
on,
known.
and I love Star Wars, so I'd be called Chewie at college, and he would always call me Squishy. And one day I had glitter on, I walk out, he goes, Squishy Stardust, that's your name. I'm like, okay, and it just stuck.
I'll say something about getting older. The older you get, the little squishier that you do.
Oh yeah, I'm there too.
I'm a little too squishy. I might remember that. Actually, the Stardust part, maybe, I don't know. But squishy, I'm relating to. Do you have a fun fact?
I do, actually. Mine's about food because I'm hungry. Mine's always about food because I'm hungry.
We just
all the
did
time.
a trip, and we were like,
We need a snack.
We
We,
have
need to stop.
So one of the first things I remember about you is that you used to say Scooby Snack.
Anything that's not a real meal is a Scooby snack in
Yeah.
between, like a
I remember
mid-morning
Scooby
snack.
snacks, yeah.
But these could be any kind of snack.
All
They don't
right.
really have to be the Scooby snacks.
Right. Okay.
It's just a small snack in between the meals.
It just shaped my life. Some things just they just drop into a spot, then they fit, and you just never kick
You're
it
like,
out.
now I got to have a Scooby snack.
We always say Scooby Snack.
Oh, but
Yeah.
my
well,
kids,
speaking of food,
what about kids' languages now? That's crazy. But anyway, no.
did you know that the German chocolate cake was not made, or it was not originated from Germany at all?
What?
From Texas.
Why did we say German?
It's after his last name, the guy that created the chocolate, and it's a chocolate bar that makes it the German chocolate cake.
Okay.
My grandmother made these, and so my second part of the fun fact is my grandmother used to make homemade German chocolate cakes. And so, did you know that she made the big ones, the 6-layer ones or whatever. If you wrap it in cellophane and put it in the freezer and pull it out anytime later, it's much more moist than if you just cook it.
Wow.
Something about sitting in the freezer. Any cake, you can try that though. Like if you have half of a honey bun cake left, you can slice it up and put it in the freezer, pull it back out, and it's more moist the second time than it was when you eat it the first time.
Wow. Okay.
All right. I'm going to use my fun fact secret gift of my jokes. See, because I've got all the information in my head.
Yes.
So it says somebody says something and it reminds me of a
Yes,
dad joke.
yes.
Yes.
So your German chocolate cake reminded me of course, I'm a pastor as well as an author. You know what you call a pastor in Germany? A German shepherd.
That is
There you go.
good.
I mean,
Correct.
they're not good at all, but
no,
you
they're
know.
No,
not.
I love
but
it.
I love it.
There you
Like
go.
if you
I
love,
love stupid humor.
corny, stupid humor, and I'm here for that.
Hey, I
Thank
love it because you know
you.
a lot of those dad jokes. You know where they're at? Laffy Taffy.
Oh, my
And
daughter.
I love Laffy Taffy.
So my daughter, it depends on who's around, whether she thinks they're funny or not.
Yeah.
She really likes them.
Yeah.
As long as it's not somebody that she's going to be embarrassed. And
Right.
she gets the Laffy Taffy and she's like, Daddy,
This is it.
I got another one for you.
Oh, that's funny.
know,
She's
so-
giving you material.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So they have. I'm serious.
Yeah.
They Laffy Taffy.
Oh, yeah,
has
they have
jokes
little
on
jokes
it.
on the
yeah.
inside of the
I
wrapper.
didn't know that.
I
Like,
did
I
not
don't
know.
like I don't like toffee, so
I
Oh, I
love
do.
that. Anybody want to send me some? I'm all good with it.
Toffee,
Laffy
taffy,
Taffy would be a Scooby
Laffy
snack.
It would be a Scooby
Oh,
snack. And
yes.
yellow's my favorite. Just say
yellow, Laffy,
Laffy Taffy.
Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
That's a cute password.
Laffy Taffy.
We're struggling. We're struggling with some passwords.
Laffy Taffy.
But see, we can't use them because I'm putting it out on our
Right.
like,
Cindy's new password for her computer.
Laffy
Laffy Taffy.
have you ever seen
Yellow
Have you
Laffy
seen
Today's
the
fun
movie
fact.
Spaceballs? Have you seen the movie Spaceballs? Where it's like, what's it?
Yeah, I've
The
seen
thing
it.
your luggage? One, two, 3, 4, 4. Get to 6. He goes, who has a password like that? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it's funny. So my daughter, on our streaming stuff, we have a channel. There's the one that she can only watch, the kids one.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to watch a show that wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't on the kids version. I don't know if it was Disney or something else. And so yesterday she said, Daddy, I need you to. Can you give me your password so I can watch the movie? She told me what it was. And I said, I don't know if I remember what it is, but let me get up. And I said, I remember what it is. And I was like, listen up. You ready? I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That was really what I put in for it. And she was trying so hard to figure it out. And that's what.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. So
We make them all complicated and hard sometimes, and then we can't remember them ourselves.
I know.
Yeah.
So something happened one time. We were not too long ago. It was a couple of years. We had during COVID. I'll just say this: during COVID, we have adult children, and two of them ended up moving back in. And then they move out and my nephew moves in. Anyway, it seemed like we would never get these adults back out on their feet, right? And so at some point, my husband is just, he's like, I'm going to put a lock on. So we travel a lot. I travel a lot. And just decided, for peace of mind, that a lot of people know how to get in our house. Like by now, it's a do, and we never know who's coming through our door, right? And he said, we're going to be gone. I'm just going to, we'll be gone quite a while. I'm going to put a code, like a lock on our door. And he put this, and then we couldn't find the key. We came back home off the trip, couldn't find the key. We'd hit it so well,
The code.
and we're getting in the middle of the night, and it was the bedroom door. I should say that we put a lock on our bedroom door. We have, it's like come and go, as we were going to be out of the country, so we knew all these adults and their friends. We live downtown Nashville, and so they kind of come and go and get ready at our house sometimes and park in front of our house. And just for our peace of mind, we put our lock on our bedroom door. We get home and we can't get in it. We had to call a locksmith to drill that knob out
Wow.
at 2 a.m. because we couldn't get in our bedroom door.
Wow.
So we struggle. Sometimes you think that you've got it all figured out, and it's not so figured out. So anyway, we have fun facts anytime. but thank you. And send these in. You know, like if if you watch our show and you run across things, you know, just let us know. Hop on the messenger or get on our Facebook or whatever, and send us some fun facts. Some of my favorite fun facts have been sent in by viewers, so that's pretty awesome, right?
Yes.
Like the pig.
Yes.
Pig. I'll just do like a
All right.
greatest
I've
hits.
got. You said pig, so I've got
Yeah.
a dad joke about
Yeah.
a pig.
Yes.
I told this one at Vacation Bible School today. Do you know what you give a sunburnt pig?
What?
Ointment. I tell you, you name a topic, and I remember a dad
Oh,
joke.
you
These are
are-
my kind of jokes.
Ointment.
I love them.
You
I
are
get them.
good. We
All right.
one of our
Sorry,
you know,
I interrupted your pig
No.
thing.
No, it's a greatest hit pig joke was that pigs can't look up to see the sky. I never knew that, you know. So we had a
Okay,
whole
fun
little
fact.
Fun fact. Here
We're
we
not
go.
even going to get anywhere.
Who needs to
did
talk about mixtape theology? Let's just do this for an hour.
Yeah.
I did a whole comic on this because I died laughing so bad because my mind just went in weird places. Did you know if a turkey looks up when it's raining, they will drown? So I was
What?
like, how could a turkey commit suicide? I'm coming for you, Mud. I just heard
Okay, question, like just logistically, they just can't.
I don't know. But
Okay.
it was like one of my friends, he's like, no, it's a real fact. If turkey looks up, they will drown. I don't know how,
Oh
but
my.
I just had an unlocked memory. Okay,
Okay.
so
All right.
my daughter, again, she likes some of these dad jokes, and this has been about 3 years ago. So she's 11 now, so she was probably 8. And we were in Hendersonville, and it was just like it is right now, really, really hot outside. And she said, Daddy, do you know, she made this up. Do you know when it's hot outside what the pig said? And I said, no, sweetie. And she said, I'm bacon. I died. I was like, you just made that up? That was really,
Awesome.
really good.
Wow. I'm
That needs to be on a
bacon.
Laffy Taffy
It
somewhere.
does. Let's turn it in.
Let's make our
I love
let's start our own candy company or something. And when you open it, you know, we could do it.
Can it be Laffy?
We could do it.
Taffy.
No, we have to do a new one. We have to come up
But
with
it
a
can
new
be
one. But
taffy.
it could be squishy glitter or whatever it is.
Squishy.
squishy stardust.
Oh,
Stardust.
That's our new candy. So if you're a confectionist and can help us out here, we're into it. All right. The other thing that we do is Southern Mother moments. We have Southern mothers, and we are interested in all of our guests. If you've got a Southern mother, do you have a Southern mother?
I did. Well, she passed away in 2019. She was from Tennessee,
Southern.
Ridgely, Tennessee.
Yeah, Southern. Do you have a memory that you want to share with us? Did you like her, for one thing?
Yes.
Like she's gone, you can say the truth.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I've been missing her a lot lately. So she would always, she never called us the straight, she always called it a state trooper. Instead of state trooper, which, but she would always call the trooper like that. That's
That's
Her-
cute.
I don't know, like she would tell me stories about her childhood and stuff, but
Did you get your pink hair from her?
oh no.
I mean, I know that is intentional, but was she the
You
pink
weren't bored
hair
with
mom?
that?
Was she the pink hair mom? I'm the pink hair mom. Ask my kids. I've had every color hair. I went to the beauty shop today. They don't call it beauty shop. I'm just, I just
what I
like
call
that. I just like that term, beauty shop. I think you need to, if you're going to go, get beauty, you need to go to the beauty shop. But anyway, I was in the salon today, and the girl that was she's worked on me for 15 years, and she said, girl, we have been every color, every length, there have been times I've been shaved up the back and the side, and we've just done all the things. But anyway, so I have been lots of colors. But was your mom that kind of flamboyant woman?
She was eccentric. I used to call, my mother loved jewelry. I'm actually wearing her ring because I've been missing her a lot lately, and I don't like big jewelry, but I've been wearing her ring
Yeah.
and her necklace, just remembering her. And she wore so much jewelry, like I used to call her Mr. T, and I said we would go sailing in the summers. I was like, Mom, if I threw you down that lake right now, you would sink because of all your jewelry. She was my best friend, she'd always call her, she was a gypsy, say she was a gypsy, but she
Yeah.
she also was an artist, and she was very eccentric, and
So yes, you get your flair from her.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Art, and we're gonna get into that in a
And
second.
writing, she wrote,
Yeah.
and she was an artist. So yeah.
And she was a Southerner.
Yes.
Oh, what about you, Ashley?
Definitely got a Southern mother.
Yeah.
And if your mother's from the South, she's mama.
Mama.
Right.
That's
So,
right.
And I actually thought about my fun fact. So this will show that my mother is a Southern mama. So Ashley is actually my nickname.
Oh,
All right. So here's
Truth bomb.
fun fact that you didn't know.
not
You
know.
see the book. It's by William Ashley Mofield, the book that I co-wrote. So
I didn't see that.
So my real name is William, is
Okay.
my legal name. And then I have two middle names. Edward is one, and that's my mom's dad. Ashburn is my dad's dad. And so they wanted me to name me after everybody. So I was William
Wow.
Edward Ashburn Mofield. But I have a Southern mama who wanted me to have my own identity and loved Gone with the Wind. So people who
Ashley.
say that Ashley is a girl's name have not seen the classic
I
Gone with the
understand.
Wind, because Ashley Wilkes is.
wow.
So my mom, so people know me as Ashley. They don't even know my name, but it's just my nickname because my Southern mama wanted to call me Ashley.
That is so
awesome.
There you go.
sweet.
I'm never gonna say your name the right way. I'm gonna be like Ashley. Oh, Ashley.
Yeah,
Ashley.
please
Yes.
don't do that. But it was.
why?
But even
Why?
today at Vacation Bible School at church, I had a little name tag, and some little, second grader, Ashley, that's a girl's name, and I'm like, no. If you're from the South, it's a Southern old school boy's name.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah.
pretty awesome. Southern mothers so some of our guests have a Midwestern mother or a Northern mother, and we educate them. We take a little time to. Do you have a Southern mother?
Well, I
memory
just told
you wanna
mine
share?
with my cake,
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So we got to try that. You got to wrap it up in cellophane
Okay.
and then pull it out.
Which you
which
don't
is
eat.
really cool because if you have like guests over, you could make it in advance and then you can pull it out and they think you've just made it fresh.
Yeah. So that I didn't really think ahead, like for this show, what I wanted to say about my Southern mother. There's just a lot, and so I'll just ping pong off of that. My Southern grandmother. So these are Texas women. And so my mama's from Texas, and I was born in Texas, so we're all Southern Texas, West Texas Southern. And so my grandmother, she baked all the time, but she didn't measure anything, and so half of it she didn't think turned out. It was all delicious because you put butter and sugar and flour together in any kind of proportions, and it's edible. It's
Yeah.
edible. Put an egg in there, and you can eat it. But she would be so picky, and half of what she'd make, she'd just throw it kind of in a big mixing pan. She'd dump a cake out, and then she'd add some other stuff to it and rebake it. And she would have like 3 times baked cakes.
Like she
And
didn't
then bring
like
it to the
that
church
one.
potluck.
Oh my gosh! And they would be so.
People would want the
each time-
recipe, and then we
Right.
don't know what the recipe
Right.
We
is.
don't know. And they were always in the freezer. So, of course, you freeze cake.
Yes.
So, you would always go to Grandma's house and she would pull something out of the freezer. You just didn't know how many times it had been baked. But it was good and cooked. And you would catch it on one of the times through, but she would add a little milk with it or add a little, whatever, and just throw a little chocolate chips or whatever in it, and then a few nuts, and then bake it, and it'd go in the freezer. And if she didn't like it, she'd put something else with it and bake it again. It was just the craziest thing. It was like sourdough now, where you have a starter and then you just keep making more off of it. That's how my grandma was with cake.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And so my mom doesn't throw anything away still.
No.
Like anytime she has just a little bit of something left, if it's just a little bowl of chili, she'll save it. She'll write on what it is. And then when I go home, it's like Christmas in the food category because she loads me up with all these little Scooby snacks.
If you like leftovers, my family doesn't like leftovers. They
See,
won't
I love
eat
'em.
things
I'm
once they
so-
get
We're all
cold.
about we try to cook to where we can have leftovers for 2 or 3 days, so we don't have to cook like 2 or 3 times a week.
That's what I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Yeah.
Or
I
maybe
will-
she get tired of it. You know, like her and Dad's done eat it 2 or 3 times, so then she'll save whatever's left, the roast potatoes and
My
carrots,
mama-
and I'm like,
My
it's
mama-
so
Well,
good to
then
me.
it becomes
you know,
then it,
I'm
in the
like,
in the winter then those roast potatoes and carrots, then you start making soup out of the leftover
Yes.
vegetables.
and we don't throw anything away.
Yeah.
No, I don't throw any food away. I will put it in little containers, put it in the refrigerator, let it go bad, and then I throw it away. I feel fine about
That's
that.
me.
But
My
fine about
unorganized chaos is in the fridge.
okay. Well, I think all this is so fascinating. Thank you guys for playing along. You have a book, so let's get into that.
All right.
How did this come about? How did you guys
Sure.
meet each other? And your wife is involved, correct?
She's not involved in the book, but
No?
she's a writer in her own rights.
Okay.
Actually, a lot more successful than I am. And she's a speaker and she's a professor at Lipscomb University here in Nashville.
Wow.
So, yeah.
We will have her on. We will hog tie her. You will have to just like lie to her and say, we're going to dinner. And yeah, you look fine for dinner for where we're going. And you're actually going to come here. We're going to just trick her because she's not. You have a podcast?
Yeah, myself and my co-writer, Rachel Cash, we interview lots of different Christian artists
Yeah.
and we talk about Christian music. And so, yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it when other podcasters are on and I'm just finding out all this interesting stuff about you. But this book, we're going to show the book. We're going to, put all this information up on our website and everything and get the word out. But what do you want people to know about it? Because I think it's very cool.
Well, sure. Yeah, it's called Mixtape Theology, and it is it's a devotional based off of 90s Christian music, and it also has a bunch of cultural retrospectives. So, I grew up in the 90s. Those were my end of high school, college, and then as a pastor going into seminary. So very, informative, important times in my life.
Yeah.
And so the 90s Christian culture of that time, there's a lot of it that we can make fun of and laugh at. And then, of course, but then there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And the music was kind of the golden era. And so it was like music, even Christian music, is so different with the streaming and everything's worship now, which there's nothing wrong with that. But they were very, very creative and really found their way in the 90s. So I am a pastor. And I've been at White House First Baptist Church. I'm actually in my 24th year. But I'm a musician and grew up as my undergrad in music. So I love music. And so quite often I would be preaching a sermon and I would quote the lyrics of a 90s Christian song.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with 90s Christian music, like Stephen Curtis Chapman, I preached a sermon and the title of it was The Great Adventure.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lady in our church that's a little younger than I am. Not too much, but, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. And so she began to talk to me, and we'd done ministry together. She's like, you love 90s Christian music. And I said, I do. So she learned that her and her pastor had this in common.
Yeah.
And so then we found out we had that in common, and we went on a couple double dates with our spouses to some fun concerts.
Yeah.
So then I actually did my doctorate, and I started doing some writing, and I thought someday I'd like to write a book, but it would have to be something like a labor of love, like something that really, to write a book, something that I love.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work. It
Yes.
has to be the right thing. And so my friend Rachel, the co-writer, posted on Facebook one time, would anybody be interested in reading a devotional based off of 90s Christian music? And so I'm her Facebook friend, and I said, I would love to read that book. Like, I love all that music. And she said, great. And other people were, saying their opinion. She said, great. I wanted to see if you would co-write it with me. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I was like, well, that actually sounds like a book I would enjoy writing. So this was 2019, and we began to brainstorm what it would look like, and finding a publisher that would publish the book, which was really challenging. It's really hard to publish a book, especially if nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
I've never written a book before, And so we wrote about half of it and began to get the word out. And so then when we were near the end, kind of in the home run stretch, we had the publishing deal. I guess we already had the publishing deal when we reached out to you, I think. But
think you
so we
did.
wrote the devotionals, but we wanted some artwork. And so we had thought maybe with every devotional there would be some artwork that had to do, if we are going to talk about Jesus Freak, there would be something to do with Jesus Freak. And so then we discovered this cool person online that was posting all these fun comics that had to do with 90s Christian music. And so I think Rachel somehow discovered you. And so then
DC
Rachel
Talk
started
site.
sending me your stuff. And I'm like, who is this person? And like, she might be the perfect fit for our book. So, I mean, we wrote the 300-page book, but let's get some artwork. And so then we reached out to Liz, and we're in Nashville, Tennessee. And she's like, well, I'm in Bowling Green, Kentucky. We're like, well, that's halfway from where we are. That's like we can meet halfway, and it's like
Close.
30 minutes away. So we met for lunch one day about a year and a half ago. And so from the get-go, you shared me some crazy ideas you had. You know, we can even talk about some of them if they're appropriate for this. They're appropriate because some of them are in the book. But I thought, all right, this is the perfect person. So Liz wrote the comics. I do not have that gift. I'm not artistic as far as visual arts. Musically, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So we hooked up with Liz, and she did the fun stuff, and so the devotionals are true devotionals. I mean, they're fun, but they're deep. We want you to learn about
Yeah.
the Lord, dig into God's word. We talk about like where we were in our faith in the 90s and how we've grown. And so it's fun, but you're learning theology, and then throughout there's all these fun, ridiculous comics. So just kind of keep it going and fun. So
You bring the ridiculous.
so you're going to get a real
Always.
devotion. We really want people to
Yeah.
be challenged in
Yeah.
their faith, but then Liz brought a lot of the fun
Hand
stuff.
me the book.
I
We're gonna
know.
have a serious picture about it, but
All right.
it is a very I'm so proud because we met and this was not
This was
in
right
the works.
before. This was before, right after I got off of Trace Diaz.
Look at
Is
this.
when
Wow.
God
Seems like
opened
when
that door.
Yeah.
when we met, you had just recently been off that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mac Powell, the lead singer of Third Day, if you know that Christian group, he
Yeah.
wrote the forward for us, and we have people like C.C. Winans endorsed it, Michael W. Smith,
Awesome.
some of the biggest people in
Yeah.
the industry. So we were very blessed.
So how
Yeah.
did you come
And
up with
it's-
that title?
You know, that was hard. We came up with all these, we had a list of 20 different things, but everybody grew up making your own mixtapes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. You go on vacation or you're making it for friends or whatever. And so we thought like we would do that with our Christian songs or our country songs or, hey, this is my beach mixtape or this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we wanted there to be theology with all these songs. And so we came up with mixtape theology. And we talked to a lot of people, and some people said, well, theology is going to scare some people away because they're going to think it's so deep. And then some people said, well, mixtape's going to scare some people away because they think it's going to be too shallow.
Yeah.
And we
I
said,
think
well, then
it's
I think that's
great.
actually exactly what we need, where we're right in that
between.
sweet spot.
Yes.
So yeah,
That
so
is
it's
so
been good.
cool. It makes me think back to college days because
Yeah.
I grew up Southern gospel, and so that's all I knew there was any kind of music.
Right.
And so I remember in college, my friend kept talking about the Newsboys, Shine, and Audio Adrenaline, and all these
Yep.
people, and I'm
Yes.
like, what are you talking about? So she literally made me a mixtape.
Well, your
of
friend
her
needs
favorite.
this book because
I
we do
know.
devotions on Newsboys and Audio Adrenaline and all those that you
And
just
I was
said.
blown away. I'm like,
There's-
what? This was a whole new world for me. And then we went to the Dove Awards that year, of course, and I see the whole picture and the whole production, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I just didn't know there was such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that immediately brought it back to me for college days. I can't wait to read it.
Yes. On the other side, on my side of the story, it started because God's timing is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had started reading through the Bible, and I would come up with these funny ideas. I read the Bible, and I would draw them out on paper. And then when I trace them with my permanent marker, if you screw it up, you're done, and you
Yeah.
don't want to draw it again. So I had asked my husband that Christmas, I wanted an iPad so I could digitally save everything and then fix it if I needed to. And then I was like, I want a DC Talk shirt. I said, I have been a major diehard fan for 30 years. I've never had a DC Talk shirt. And so my husband's like, pick you one out and order it. So I did. And I have something that's called vocal stimming. If you know me enough, I'll be walking around, you know who's doing it? I'll just do that all the time. So I got the shirt, and every time I wore the shirt, I would constantly to my kids go, you know who's doing it? And they'd go like, yeah, who's doing it? And so it got to the point after weeks of this, my kids are like, stop it. So I did a comic, and it was about me getting my DC Talk shirt, and it says, talks about where my daughter's like, stop, and so it says plans for my deathbed, and so I'm on my deathbed, and my son is in the background saying, she's saying something, Gwen, and she's like, what, Mama, what? I'm like, closer, come closer. She's like, what, Mama? I'm like, closer. She's like, what? And I'm like, you know who's doing it? And then a flat line, and that's the end of the comment.
Funny.
So that was what I put on the DC Talk site. And then I get this message. And you know how everybody's like, be an ambassador for our brand, So I had tons of crap like that. So she messages me and she's like, I have something I think you might be really interested in if you contact me. So I'm like, oh, great. What? I'm going to do it because I almost didn't. And what if I had never done this? So I'm like, okay. And so she talks to me. And so she's like, I think I have something you might be interested in. So we finally FaceTimed and we're talking, and she's telling me we got this book. It's about 90's Christian. I was like, I know 90's Christian music. And she's like, well, it's the culture. I was like, I know the culture, and it's like all the stuff in these bands. It was like God took everything I knew and put it on player. I didn't even know there was people who I just like 90's Christian. Like I loved it, and I continued to listen to them. I never knew that there was a group for me.
Well, you see, and it's very nostalgic, like we have a Facebook page, and compared to some people, I mean, we don't have many followers, but we've got 10,000.
Wow.
To me, that's good.
And it's like,
It's a lot.
we have like found our tribe. There's all these people that are like you, like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. And it's unlocking all these memories and these songs. And y'all, 90's was a long time ago.
It was.
It's like we're getting old, y'all.
Stop.
But there's this nostalgic, and it was this golden era, and people are like, yeah, that was it. And they're
concerts, man. I miss the festivals. I wish somebody bring back the Christian festivals. And you had Toby Mac, you had Kirk Franklin, you had Skillet, you had Audio A. I got to see all those bands at Ichthus and Cornerstone and what is it, New Song. I miss that experience with my children. My children don't get to have that experience. I mean, I wish they had that, but I got to experience all that.
Yeah, so a part of the book is very nostalgic, but that doesn't mean that you have to have went through all that.
To understand
Yeah, like,
it or
I mean,
get
there's
it.
80-year-old sweet little ladies in my church that, oh, Pastor, you wrote a book, I want to get it. And then I just love those devotions and, so, and they don't know who DC Talk is, but they're learning, they're actually, opening their Bible and enjoying the devotions. And I don't know what they think about your comics. They probably, but so you don't have to be a fan of that. We hope that anybody would give it a chance,
Yeah.
So.
How fun. And that was the music videos.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody did.
That was also
music
90's.
videos. Yeah.
They have a scan code in the book where you can scan it. And I call it, this is what I call it, it's an interactive devotional because I'm very visual.
Yeah.
And there were things that were amazing. What is it, Gotta Be True or something? No, it wasn't Gotta Be True. It was the guy with the waistcoat that I just fell in love with. I don't remember his name. What is it? It's
Brian Duncan?
Yes. What
Brian
was this?
Duncan.
What was it?
Wow.
It was one of the very first ones. But anyway, it's got this he's running through an airport, but the song was so catchy. And it was amazing. I was like, oh my goodness, but you can scan the code and then it takes you can go to the music videos, watch the music video.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
goes
what
to
I did.
Spotify lists for every song. It
That's
goes to all the
cool.
videos, all that's in the book.
Yeah, and I did
Wow.
that. I would do the videos and the song and then go into the devotional.
Of course, you know why we had to do that? Because legally, we couldn't put one lyric of any song in the book when we wrote it. Because that was actually our vision. We were going to have the full lyrics
Yeah.
of Stephen Curtis Chapman's Great Adventure and then the devotion. And, we talked to legal people and they're like, you are not allowed to do that. And so, I guess we could have gotten permission from every single writer of every song, but that would have been quite a challenge because a lot of times there's 4 or 5 writers
Yes.
and reaching all those. So
Well, now
so-
you've met April. If you ever want to do it again, she will hook
but
you
but
up.
even in the devotion, like you can't quote a lyric
Yeah.
legally. Now we could quote a song title, but we had to be very, very careful with all that. So then we came up with you go to the little companion in the book, and then it takes you to a website where you can read
at
the lyrics.
everything.
You can listen to the song,
That's
and
cool.
and so and it's 2024. People are all online anyway, so it works good.
So, where do people find your book? I know that you've done book signings at bookstores, but
Yeah,
what's
Amazon.
the best?
I mean, you
Amazon's
can go
the
to
best one?
Amazon. I mean, I think it's on Walmart.com. It's on Barnes and Noble. It's all those places. So
Okay.
yeah.
We'll link that up. And your church again. Give the name and location of
Yeah,
your church.
I'm the pastor at White House First Baptist Church in White House, Tennessee. So it's just north of Nashville on
Yeah.
the way to Bowling Green, right up I-65.
Do you have online services?
Yeah, we do.
you show-
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook and
Okay.
we're Facebook Live.
And
there.
all of this, how do people find your Facebook link?
Mixtape Theology.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
hook all that up.
Yes,
can
we
easily
will.
find
That's
it.
April's
We'll
world.
tag you.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
so I do want to share, like,
Yeah.
so when I found out that Liz was the perfect person, and when I say this, I'm almost scared because I don't want people to think that the book is not a serious book. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
The devotions are very deep. But Liz had this idea. So we're meeting. I met Liz for this pink-haired girl comes in. And she's just all over the place. And I got this and I got this and, whatever. She goes, I got this idea and y'all are going to think I'm crazy. And I was like, okay, well, now what is your idea? And I mean, I've known her for 10 minutes now. And she
You
goes,
want me to give it?
and she said, I've got this idea about a comic. All right. So in the 90's, the WWJD bracelets
Yeah.
were popular.
Yes.
And then everybody did the True Love Waits. You
Yes.
did a little ceremonies,
Yes.
save yourself for marriage.
Yes.
So she said, I got this idea for a comic of True Love Waits WWJD glow in the dark underwear comic. And I'm like what? She goes, so the teens are like getting a little too,
But the parents, only the parents know that it does that. So,
yeah, you explained it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So the kids would go and if they got too into it,
A little bit too much PDA
yes,
going on.
A little
Well,
exposed.
no,
would
not
be-
public, but yeah.
Yeah,
a
behind.
little
and they-
exposed.
all of a sudden Jesus is looking at you to face, going, "What would Jesus do?" It would just kill the
So
mood
the
right
underwear
there.
has
Oh,
glow in
yeah.
the dark WWJD in
Yes.
Jesus' face. And she told me that, and I said, that is crazy, and that is why you're the perfect person
Yes.
to write the
I've held
comic,
that
because you
on
get
for
it.
years, for 20 or 30
And so if
years.
you want to see that is in the book, that very comic.
So
Awesome.
great.
I brought you guys gifts.
Oh, I love it.
I love prizes.
Oh my gosh.
They're little stickers. One
Look
of
at
those, the Diver City Retirement Home is like my little baby. I run a retirement home that I have called Diver City Retirement Home because of Toby Mac, and it's got a nod there into his Diver City album. And where I have all the aging Christian artists from like the 90s, 80s, 90s, and some 2000. And I run the home. So they get up to all crazy music shenanigans. And they're like
my
music jokes in there throughout it.
So fun. Well, April
So
was
great.
really excited about you guys being on because she adopted a little girl from Guatemala
Awesome.
years ago, and she wrote at that time a book that she needs. She needs animation like comic.
I've waited
It's
all these
supposed to
years.
be- she wants there to
I
be
need a job.
comics to go along with this for a children's book. So
Yeah.
we're
I know. I was like, that's who's going to be on our show.
I know, and I'm so excited. I'm humbled. I know the audience. I know you guys are gonna just absolutely love all of this, and follow along. Be fans of these guys, and we'll have you on again because I feel like you're gonna probably do another book. You can't.
Our publisher has
possibly-
already asked us, and so we are in the first
awesome.
meeting. So we'll see what it's going to look like.
You can't possibly cover all of
Well,
the
that's-
music you wanted to.
Well, that's
in
why
one
we called
devotional.
it
Volume 1.
90's edition.
90's
We knew
edition.
there was always possibility of more books, and
Yeah.
so we'll.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So it's a devotional. How many?
There are
how-
35 devotions.
Okay.
So they're standalone, and we try to.
Be great for a small group.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
it
you
would.
think
You
that
know,
it
you
would
could
be
you could
a-
listen to
like
the
a book
song.
club?
Yeah, and so we give you thought provoking things. But you know, we didn't want it just to be kind of a 30-second read through it, but we didn't want it to be like a Beth Moore. You got to read an hour.
Right.
You know, it's a good. What do you think? 10-minute devotion.
Yeah.
And
Doable.
and it was hard to pick the songs. You know, we had to pick our favorites, but then we tried to pick a diverse group. You know,
Yeah.
and pick the ones that everyone's going to know, like Big House, Audio Adrenaline,
Yeah.
or like you said, Shine, Newsboys.
Yes.
So we tried to have the no-brainers in there, and
That's awesome.
yeah.
So if you want to have a small group and let this book guide you, that would be really fun, because they could print out the lyrics and do posters and stuff on their own and link it to just have fun with that. I mean, I just think that would be an amazing hookup. So, oh man, thank you guys for coming today.
And too, if you want to see any of my comics, you can go to Liz Humor Comics on Facebook. I have some on Instagram, but I think Facebook is where I mainly post everything.
Okay, we'll hook all that up.
Yes.
We'll connect all the dots here. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you've loved it. We have enjoyed it so much. Thank you guys again.
Thanks a lot.
Love you so
Yes.
much.
Yep.
See us next time on Get It Together, y'all. We're here to help.